my name is Alexia Bowen. I am currently a junior at IUI, and this is my honors project for the fall 2024 semester. To begin, the title of my project is Navigating the Digital Age. This is how we communicate in such a connected world. This presentation goes along with my Human Communication in a Digital Age course. To first begin, we will start with an introduction to digital communication. So technology has really revolutionized how we communicate, as it has transformed it from this traditional face-to-face interactions to digital interactions that can happen in real time across the world. And we've gone from the printing press to the rise of the internet and social media, and these advancements in technology have not only made communication faster and more accessible, they've also changed communication as a whole. And today we connect through social media, video calls, messaging apps, and more. And all of that now plays a role in how we form relationships. So my goal with this project is to create a resource that explores the impact of these digital communication shifts. And I want to spark the discussion and reflection on how technology is shaping our interactions, from personal to professional environments, and much more. So through this project, I hope to encourage a deeper understanding of the challenges and opportunities we face in this digital age that we're currently in, and ultimately can help us navigate through these newer communication techniques in a more informed and thoughtful way. So we are first going to begin by exploring how communication has evolved over time and how technology has played a vital role in shaping how we connect with one another. I don't want to spend too much time on the obvious historical shifts like print media or television, but more want to focus on right now, with one of the most fundamental shifts in recent years being the transition from face-to-face communication to computer-mediated communication, or what's known as CMC, through digital platforms. Face-to-face communication has been the dominant form of human interaction for most of history, and we are able to read body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice, which all help in building strong interpersonal connections. So face-to-face communication is abundant in these nonverbal cues, which are essential in creating trust and intimacy in our relationships. In contrast, computer-mediated communication involves communicating through digital channels like email, social media, texting, or video calls. And this does offer some advantages, such as it breaks down distance. That was once an issue for us, and also we can communicate through different time zones now. It allows us to connect with people globally and share information quickly, and we also can maintain relationships despite being far away from one another. However, CMC does present some challenges, and it often lacks the emotional cues that face-to-face communication does provide. For instance, we lose much of the ability to interpret nonverbal cues like body language and facial expressions, which can lead to misunderstandings or emotional disconnect with others. So, while CMC does allow us to communicate quickly, it sometimes makes it harder to form deep and meaningful connections. So this leads us to the broader question of how has digital communication affected our emotional well-being and relationships? Sherry Turkle, who is a well-known scholar in the field of digital communication, maintains the idea that we are losing out on the benefits of face-to-face conversation. Turkle noted that digital communication can create a paradox, something along the lines of that we're more connected than ever, yet we also feel more isolated than ever. And in her research, she notes that when we rely on technology to communicate, we lose the ability to be fully present with others in real time. So text and social media interactions can feel less personal and more like a transaction that may leave us feeling emotionally unfulfilled. Turkle's analysis suggests that digital communication has reshaped how we socialize, often making our interactions more divided and less meaningful. But this doesn't mean that digital communication is essentially bad. It's just crucial to be aware of its limitations and its potential consequences on our emotional health and social lives it can have. Social media platforms were designed to connect people in communities, but have also become sources for public outrage and divided discourse. Molly Crockett, who is a well-respected psychologist and researcher, noted how social media magnifies outrage by encouraging exaggeration and outrage-driven engagement. So this is because the algorithms on these platforms are specifically designed to prioritize content that generates strong reactions. and this often promotes division rather than civil dialogue. The speed and ability to be anonymous in online communication has made it easier for people to express anger and frustration in ways that they might not be able to in face-to-face interaction. So in many cases, this escalates conflicts and deepens the social divide. This shift poses challenges that raise important questions about the ethical responsibilities of both users and platform creators in fixing this digital divide and outrage. The next concept we will be tackling is the self in the digital age. So, digital communication has changed how we present and understand ourselves. Platforms like social media, dating apps, and even professional networks have redefined the way that we express our identities and engage with others. Online, we have the power to carefully craft our identities and choose what aspects of ourselves to showcase to others. On platforms like Instagram and Facebook, people often share highlights of their lives, like their vacations, accomplishments, happy moments, because this boosts their self-esteem or reinforces a positive self-concept. These digital identities we create can improve our sense of value, but they also create this pressure to maintain a flawless image. This can lead to striving for validation through likes, comments, followers, but it might also lead to a sense of anxiety when our real lives don't seem to align with the one that we did create online. One reason this can happen is explained by the concept of the looking glass self and the social comparison theory. So, the looking glass self, introduced by Charles Cooley, he suggested that we form our self-image based on how we think others perceive us. So, online, we often seek the feedback from likes and comments and shares to measure our social worth, which often results in altering our actual identities to fit the feedback that we received off of those posts. And then the social comparison theory, which was proposed by Leon Festinger, it explains that we often compare ourselves to others to evaluate our own lives and abilities. So on social media, we scroll through posts where people are often sharing their best moments, so it's easy to feel like we're falling short when we're comparing ourselves to them, and this constant comparison can have a negative impact on our self-esteem. So now we will dive into self-disclosure, or how we share our personal information with others. The Johari window, which is a model that explores self-awareness and social interaction, helps us explain how we manage self-disclosure online. So we often share more than we might in person, exposing private aspects of ourselves to these public platforms. So while this can create a sense of connection, it also brings risks when we share too much and it becomes an issue. The way we present ourselves digitally also has effects on our relationships. Research by Ellison, Hino, and Gibbs, which was one of the first that actually looked at the self-presentation in online dating apps, it revealed that individuals often present a highly curated version of themselves, focusing on the best aspects of their personality or appearance, and this can create initial attraction, but it also raises concerns when the image might not match reality, or it can lead to disappointment or trust issues, as others' expectations are built on this idealized version of ourselves that we put online rather than our true selves, so it might lead to disappointment. Digital communication has also reshaped how we work and interact within organizations. From emails and instant messaging to video conferences, technology has transformed workplace communication, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. Organizational communication is how information runs within an organization to support its goals and drive productivity. Digital tools like Zoom and Microsoft Teams have been created and make communication more efficient. However, this shift from that face-to-face to digital communication does also present challenges. And some say that remote communication can sometimes feel impersonal and makes it harder to build a connection and even maintain organization within your job. During the COVID-19 pandemic, it forced so many organizations to switch to remote work without any preparation. This shift meant that digital meetings were replacing the in-person ones, and physical office spaces now had to be virtual to continue to operate. Many companies found that maintaining a strong organization and team connection became difficult with remote work. So, as the pandemic started to normalize remote work, these organizations must implement strategies to keep communication effective. Ways that they could help do this could be like regular video check ins, clear communication procedures to their organization, or even training on digital tools that are essential to the employees to stay connected. Another challenge that can be faced in the digital workplace is information overload. There is a constant stream of emails, messages, and notifications that employees get that often can make them overwhelmed, which leads to decreased focus and productivity. Organizations could try to set clear communication guidelines to help employees prioritize what's the most important tasks, and also encourage a style of communication where the employees can respond at their own pace, which would help reduce pressure and improve productivity. The next topic is mass communication and the digital divide. As technologies have continued to advance, they've created blurry lines between mass communication and interpersonal communication. Today, a viral video or a photo can reach millions of people so quickly, which is why it makes the boundaries blurred between what personal and mass media actually are. And this shift has led to the rise of echo chambers and filter bubbles. Echo chambers are spaces where individuals are exposed only to the information that confirms to their already existing beliefs. And filter bubbles occur when our algorithms base our previous behavior on what we see. So this often limits our exposure to other people's perspectives, and both of these make it harder to have open discussions and increase disagreement in public discourse. With the rise of so many online platforms, the traditional news outlets no longer control the flow of information. So the platforms themselves have actually coined the name gatekeepers as they decide what content gets seen by the millions of people on the apps. Social media platforms actually play a significant role in shaping the public's opinion now, and they also play a role in spreading misinformation because the algorithms prioritize exciting or emotional content even if it doesn't have factual information on it, which can in some cases be false or misleading. How we consume media has changed dramatically in the digital age, and we no longer rely on traditional news outlets like TV or newspapers, so social media platforms are now the primary sources for entertainment, news, and public conversation. Social media platforms like X or TikTok have content that's tailored to the user's preferences that have even transformed the way that we see news and engage with stories, comments, and share our opinions. But this also raises concerns about the quality of the information being shared, as the line between credible journalism and opinion can be hard to recognize. In today's digital age, health communication, and particularly through telemedicine, has changed the way that patients and providers can interact, making healthcare more accessible but also introducing new challenges. Telemedicine is considered to be a consultation through video calls, messaging, and other digital tools that make healthcare more accessible. This is especially true for those in remote or underserved areas. However, it also has its challenges, like the lack of face-to-face contact can make it harder for providers to assess the nonverbal cues that patients provide. This can be critical for understanding a patient's emotions and concerns, but at the same time, these digital tools reduce wait times and provide convenience. But the effectiveness of telemedicine often depends on the patient's ability to use or access the technology in the first place. Another major area where digital communication is impacting healthcare is online health communities. Support groups help all sorts of people seek not only information, but emotional support. These online spaces can provide a sense of commonality and a platform for shared experiences. However, the downside is that misinformation can spread quickly, and not all advice is medically correct. Now we will be covering intercultural communication in a digital world. The internet has also significantly influenced how we construct and express our cultural identities. Digital platforms provide a new opportunity for people to explore and celebrate their cultural diversity. However, this also presents challenges, as it can sometimes simplify or even stereotype cultural identities. This is why we must learn intercultural communication competence, or ICC. These are the skills that are used to effectively communicate across cultures. These are important in the digital age, as as there's a high potential for misunderstandings and cultural misinterpretations that further these negative narratives. We must adapt our communication styles to be respectful, inclusive, and aware that digital interactions can be difficult across cultures, but keep an open mind. We've truly seen how the digital communication has transformed the way that we connect, share, and express ourselves. While technology has brought the world closer together by not worrying about time and distance, it has also introduced these new challenges that we must be aware of. As we move forward in the digital age, it's crucial that we recognize both the power and the downsides of technology in shaping our communication. By being thoughtful, we can foster a more meaningful connection and promote healthier online behaviors and navigate digital technology as it continues to grow with greater awareness.